Yeah, welcome to the structural analysis 2 video lecture. So this is lecture number 1 in the third unit. The unit name is approximate method of analysis, and in this topic I would like to discuss the introduction and one of the approximate method, that is substitute frame method. So coming to the approximate method, so what is the necessity of using approximate method will be studied here. Yeah. So in multi-story buildings or frames, the degree of indeterminacy is very high actually, because there will be more number of joints and more number of frames. So the degree of indeterminacy, whether it may be static or kinematic, it is very high. So in these cases, it cannot be solved by using the traditional methods like consistent deformation and slope deflection, which we have studied in the previous SCA1, and also in moment distribution method. So these methods are ruled out. So for that we have a advanced technique called Canis method. But using Canis method, the disadvantage is that it requires more computational efforts. So calculation will be very high if you use Canis method for multi-story frames. So for that, designers has executed a new system of analysis methods. So for a very quick solutions, we have the following approximate methods of analysis. The first one is substitute frame method, and this substitute frame method is exclusively used for vertical loads only. So also for horizontal loads we have portal frame method. One is portal frame method, and the second is cantilever method, and third is factor method. So in this video, let us discuss how a substitute frame method can be solved for vertical loads exclusively. So before that, what is the necessity of approximate analysis? So what is the necessity of approximate analysis? So when you look at this point, rapid check by using computer aided analysis. So the rapid check is much required these days, because whatever the work is assigned to an engineer, so the client will have a hope that the work must be completed at a very speed. So if we are doing using the manual method, it takes a lot of time to design and also analyze. So for that, approximate analysis methods are used. So rapid check can be done by using computer aided analysis, like we have StatPro and ETABS for computer aided analysis, and also preliminary dimensioning before exact analysis. So before exact analysis is done, so there will be a preliminary dimensioning. What do you mean by preliminary dimensioning? That means before the exact analysis is done, so beforehand only dimensioning of a beam or a column is estimated approximately, but it is using these methods. But civil engineer will know what to do, what must be the minimum width and breadth and length, and also the number of the diameter of the rod, steel bar, etc., like that. So what is the advantage of this approximate analysis? The advantage is that very faster solutions we get when compared to the other traditional methods. So there is a reason in the previous slide it was like for quick solutions. Yes. So what is the disadvantage? When we have something advantage for a work, we also have disadvantage. So that is, the results are approximate. They are not exact, they are just approximate. So we can consider them, but not 100%. So approximate methods are particularly useful for multi-story frames taller than 3 stories. So if the frame has more than 3 stories, these approximate methods can be used. So coming to substitute frame method, This method is an approximate analysis for vertical loads only. In the very starting of the video we have told that this is used for analysis of vertical loads only. So here we have a assumption that movements transferred from the one floor to another floor are negligible and analysis is made floor by floor. So this is very important. The movements which will be transferred are considered as negligible in substitute frame method, and this analysis is done separately for floor by floor. So a substitute frame consisting of floor beam and columns above and below it are considered for analysis. That will be shown in the, this point is discussed in the next slide or next. So again the point I am writing here. So columns, so a substitute frame consisting of floor beam and columns above and below it are considered for analysis. So a substitute frame, instead of considering the whole frame which is having 3 or 4 or 5 or more than multiple stories, only a frame with floor beam and columns is considered for using. So columns are considered fixed at far ends. How these two statements are justified? That is like this. So this is an actual frame of a building, say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So apart from this ground we have 6 floors, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So in that he is taking a substitute frame. That means suppose this is having one more frame like this, suppose. So he will take a substitute frame. That means he will consider only this. He will consider only this part, and you will see here there is only one. So and these ends are fixed. These ends are fixed according to the previous statement. All the ends are fixed. So they will take only one frame and they substitute that frame movements and for every floor. In this method they will do like that. So in a multi-story frame, both the dead and live loads together constitute the vertical loads. So what are the vertical loads? Generally the dead load and also live load, both are considered as vertical loads. Dead load acts throughout the frame and at all times. So dead load is nothing but it is the self weight of a structure, as we know. So live load, it may act throughout the frame or at some part or only some part. Like live loads are nothing but moving loads. So analysis is done once we are taking substitute frame, and after choosing that frame, analysis is done for beam span moments, beam support moments, and also column moments. For these three moments we do analysis. Analysis is done for beam span moments, beam support moments, and column moments. So live load positioning is done for the worst condition, taking it into consideration. So for the same frame, live load positions for maximum span movements, support movements, and column movements may be different. This is in general a student must know. So repeating the statement again, for the same frame, live load positions for maximum span movement, so maximum span movement and support moment and column moment. So if the load is acting, live load is acting at some point P, so at that some point P there may be a maximum span moment, but there may not be a support moment, may not be a maximum, and also column moment may not be maximum. So this statement justifies that. And also for maximum, the next line is the for maximum movements at different points, live load positions may be different. So to find maximum span moment we have one position, and also for maximum support moment we have one position, and also for column moment to be maximum we have some position of live loads. So the position of live loads changes. So that is this statement. So if you see here, live load positions for maximum span moment at B, for span moment at B. So here we have B. So for that live load must be at this point and also at this point. So this is one case. And also for negative support moment at A, if this is A, so for A we have to do some negative maximum support moment. For that, this pink one is live load and also live load. So we have to choose the position in such a way that we must get the required answer. And here for column movement at C, so for column movement at C, this must be maximum, suppose. So we have to mark the positions of live loads as 1 and also 2. Fine. So how to know where the maximum live loads shall be applied will be detailedly studied in the problems while solving. And this is for D. So the live loads are at pink lines. And that's all regarding this introduction and substitute frame methods video. I hope everyone has understood. Thank you for watching this video. In the next video, let us learn the other approximate methods and its use, and also the procedure applied adapted for solving the problems. Thank you once again.